everybody. This is my first ever episode or video or whatever this is on my channel. I have no idea what I am doing, so bear with me. I am Good Girl, and I am by no means a redstone expert. I've just started learning how to do this thing, so bear with me. But I couldn't find anybody doing this, so I decided to make a tutorial on it. Hopefully you'll find this helpful. I will be trying to use layman's terms so it's easier to understand. Okay, now let's get into it. So for my Undertale build that I've been building, needed to use 3 inputs to open this door. So I needed all 3 of these to be on a button to open the door. And over time, I figured out how to do it, thanks to this one Reddit user that I have completely forgotten about, but he was helping someone with the Zelda cooking machine, and I figured out how he did it. And here's the redstone circuitry on the bottom that you can see. And I will teach you how to do this. I just want to give you an idea of how simple and small it actually is before we get started. All right, don't mind the mess. This is my testing server. So over here, I have just the outline of what you need. You have your door and your 3 minecarts. The first thing you're going to want to do is get a detector rail and replace each of these, the ends closest to the door. It doesn't really matter where it is, but for this build, it's closest to the door with the detector rail. Then, underneath, you are going to, first I'm going to place these because they're actually very thin, and I didn't realize that. Now it's easier to read. You're going to place 1 block underneath each of these detector rails. You're going to place a redstone dust directly underneath so that when a minecart goes over the detector rail, it turns on this redstone dust. The detector rail will power this block, which powers the redstone block because it is in between the 2 blocks. I hope that makes sense. It's kind of complicated, but it's not very complicated once you've learned the language. As I said, trying to use layman's terms is very difficult. Next, what you will do is you're going to come over to your, what are these called? Pistons. You're going to place wool underneath, or whatever block you need, just so you can place some blocks onto the side. Specifically, you're going to want to have it on the back side if you don't have enough room, because this area from between the inputs and the door is kind of small, so you kind of need to have it in the back so it works. If you have room, you're going to take your redstone torches and place them on the sides of this, the wool here, so that's powering the piston above it. That closes the door. And this is what the door is going to have to be the entire time until the buttons are pushed. That way, when we finish the redstone, the door will be open and you can walk through, just like we saw previously. So what we're going to do now is make another section just to the other side of the redstone torch. On the exact opposite side of the redstone torch, you're going to take a redstone repeater and point it at the block that had the redstone torch, all 3 of them. That way, when you power them, it'll directly power this block, which will turn off this redstone torch, closing or opening the door. Next, you're going to place another row of wool and your redstone dust right behind the repeaters. As you can see, each one of these redstone dusts are connected to each repeater. And you're going to take You have to do that? Let me see. In my head, do you need to do that? No, you don't. That's the way I've been doing it for a while. You can place your block on this side or the other side. It doesn't really matter. It depends on which side you're going to bring the wire around. So you'll want to place it to one side. I picked this side just because that's the way I did it before. You can see it in the background. It's right there. Yeah, you're going to want to bring it one more out just so it doesn't mess with the wiring of the redstone repeater. If you find that it doesn't mess with yours, you can do that. It doesn't really matter. This is just for the sake of the people. Next, we are going to go back to our buttons, because now that we have door operation done, we'll know that the redstone circuitry is working. Next, you're going to place redstone torches on the side closest to the door, or on the back of the door, or farther away from the door. It doesn't matter because you just have to make the wire longer. I'm calling it wire, but it's redstone dust wire longer. I call them wire because I'm using layman's terms. Next, you will place, is this where it goes? Yeah, that's where it goes. You'll place a block of your choosing, one block away from the redstone torch, and one down. And you can get rid of the middle bits. You're going to take your repeater, nope, placing it the wrong direction, and face it towards the door. That way, what is this? The redstone torch powers the repeater. And if the repeater is on the other side, it is not being powered, which means you're doing it wrong. So make sure it's facing away from the torch. You're going to take your block of your choice, which is in my case wool, and connect all the repeaters in the front like so. Take your redstone dust and connect all of those together. And this part is almost done. We are almost done here. Next, you're going to take your wire that you've just created and connect it. Yeah, that's together. Connect it to the new, what's this? The door wiring. The doors are open, but I did something wrong. But I didn't forget. I'm just showing it off in case someone actually knows what they're doing, can figure out what it is. Now I will fix my mistake. We'll take away one section and another section, so that would be two sections, plus a redstone torch on the side that has the buttons being pressed. This redstone torch, yeah. This redstone torch is now off because this redstone is powering it, which is turning it off. We will then take, oops, I pressed that wrong. We'll then take a block down so that this can power this redstone torch, when it's turned on, can power this redstone, piece of redstone. Yeah, now what do I need to say? Let's see. I believe it's actually finished. So now, if we push this button, you'll see that this is turned on, which turns off this power. What is this? Redstone torch. This redstone is turned on because of this button, which turns off this redstone torch, which turns off this repeater. And then, moving forward, Press the second button, same thing. Redstone repeaters turned off. Third button, this same thing happens. This turns on, turns off the redstone torch and the repeater, which turns off all of the redstone, because if any of these are powering the repeater, there's a redstone signal being turned on. And we want it to be turned off. So all of them have to be pushing the button for it to be turned off. And thus, the door is now open. Because all of this power is turned off, this redstone torch is now turned on, powering this redstone, which powers the repeaters, which go through the block, powering the redstone torches, turning off the sticky pistons that you used to place your door in. I hope you found this helpful. I know I certainly looked so hard trying to find all the answers for this, and I couldn't find it. It was so difficult. I had to wait for months before I came back to work on this. And that just shows how bad at redstone I am. But I hope this helps you in the future with my explanation on how the things are working, so that you can maybe implement it on any sort of redstone circuitry you use later. Thank you for watching and putting up with my terrible nerves with talking. Goodbye.